Number 6, Christian mothers are counselors for their children and give them godly advice. How many times can you remember in your life when you needed to talk to someone about a problem you were having, and your mother was the one that was willing to listen to you? How many times did she give you sound advice on how to deal with your problem? I'm sure most of us have experienced this with our mothers. Again, this seems to be something that most mothers are good at. And we can certainly see a good example of this in the story of Naomi and Ruth, where Naomi shows her deep love toward her daughter-in-law, Ruth. If you will remember, Naomi was married and had 2 sons who were married to 2 women from Moab. But the unthinkable happens and her husband dies, and within 10 years, both of her sons die. Naomi decides to go back to Judah, where she was from, and her daughter-in-laws both want to go with her. This gives us an indication of how loving a mother Naomi was, since they were willing to leave their people to be with her. She tries to persuade them not to go with her, and one of them listens, but Ruth does not. Ruth 1, verse 16. But Ruth said, "Entreat me not to leave you or to turn back from following after you. For wherever you go, I will go, and wherever you lodge, I will lodge. Your people shall be my people, and your God my God. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. The Lord do so to me, and more also, if anything but death parts you and me." This shows how much love and dedication she had for her mother-in-law. When they arrived at Bethlehem, Ruth went into the fields and gathered up heads of grain. The field she went to belonged to Boaz, who was a relative of Naomi. Ruth catches his eye, and he wants her to continue to gather food from his field and to hang around his maidservants. And she does. When Naomi hears about this, she gets excited for her daughter-in-law, and she gives her good advice on how to be pleasing to Boaz and gain favor in his sight. Sure enough, Naomi's advice pays off, and Boaz and Ruth become married and have a child named Obed, who would become David's grandfather. Once again, Naomi had the opportunity to hold a child in her arms, and I have no doubt that she helped teach her grandson, Obed, about God, and that she did what she could to be a good example to him. I think we can safely assume that Ruth learned a lot about being a godly mother from Naomi. So mothers, I hope you will do your best to listen to your children's problems and to give them sound advice that is based on the Word of God.